On the table today, we are back with the Zippleback, the Hideous Zippleback, How to Train Your Dragon live action, Walmart exclusive Zippleback to complete our team. Also a few other single carded dragons to go through that we have not skrilled and thrilled yet with too. Plus maybe a long-winded report of what I thought of the new live action How to Train Your Dragon a few weeks in. Now that everyone has had a chance to say what they saw, I can say what I saw. Always lots more dragons on the table at Squirrel Stampede, so let's go through a few new things and see what they can do.
Squirrel Stampede.
Please, Squike.
Squash Share.
And Squirrel Live.
This is a How to Train Your Dragon live action Hideous Zippleback and Ruffnut Tuffnut. If you're looking around for one of these, try a Walmart. It's exclusive to their shelves, although sometimes hard to find. It will complete our main Dragon Riders series here at Squirrel Stampede for live action, assembling the team for complete rider companionship. Unless they were cake toppers, I don't think I ever had figures of Ruffnut and Tuffnut back in the day. So we really get a chance to see some new things today. This one has moving head and wings, non-real feel wings for the people who do not like the real feel, adjustable posable plastic shell wings with this. And somehow we're gonna get Ruffnut and Tuffnut on the back here saddle-wise. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. And somehow we'll saddle up a Ruffnut and Tuffnut onto those necks of Belch and Barf. Not sure how that's gonna go down. It's gonna be awkward, as these kids are pretty big to set up onto that neck. Necks. Double necks. Heads. Lots of heads. Let's just get out of packaging. That's a Zippleback out of the box. Not bad, not bad. I can see why they can call this an exclusive. It's commanding a lot of table space and looks pretty good. Plus we have the identical twins of Ruffnut and Tuffnut. Wait, Tuffnut and Ruffnut. No, Ruffnut and Tuffnut. They're so identical, I just can't tell them apart. I'm sorry. So nice to see both included. Well, let's focus more on the dragon first. The Hideous Zippleback, Belch and Barf, or Barf and Belcher. Wait, who rides who? What? The Hideous Zippleback. In green with a little bit of that granic marbleizing going in there. They've been liking giving the skins of these live action dragon a little more texture in a way to kind of liven them up, even though they're just as animated as from before. Or maybe not. I think they did really find real dragons to film this. This is Clyde and Buster. Buster's from North Dakota, but Clyde is from Hollywood, and they both kind of got the role of the new Belch and Barf. What? Again with the scale. They're quite lengthy at almost 20 inches long, and maybe approximately 8 inches up there with the wings. And lots of terrific articulation, something we've never really seen before in Belch and Barf. Usually a lot of gimmicky with this dragon in the past. But now we've got a figure that can stand on all fours and move all necks and all tails. One of the necks is straight and low and can be positioned in various ways, rotation and hinged. And the other has a little more curved look, raising up higher and also hinge and rotate. Although actually the straight neck reaches a little bit taller than the curved neck. Have a little fun with that. It almost looks like their jaws will open up, but they do not. They are sealed shut, which is kind of a bummer. As for the rest of the dragon, we have legs that can rotate a little bit for positioning on all fours. We've got a tail back here that is pretty much muddily stuck. They kind of forgot to paint down the rest of the Zippleback there. We can't really zip it together or unzip it, unlike the original. But there is the plastic shell wings for articulation, which I think most people prefer over the real feel, although I kind of enjoy the real feel. And okay, saddling up a Ruffnut and Tuffnut. Let's bring in Ruffnut first. Pretty great movie detail, by the way, again with these figures, considering scale and something that Spin Master doesn't really do every day. So wait, which side is Belch and which side is Barf and which side does Ruffnut sit and which side does Tuffnut sit? According to package, it's that. I mentally took note of exactly where they sat and then promptly forgot. And if you spend a little forever positioning and really trying to get these hips onto these posts on the saddle and then position arms to hold onto the horns, you can get it, but it takes a lot of time and trials. And so we now have Tuffnut to saddle up. It's like he was ripped right out of the movie screen, they're so accurate. With these capes and coverings and dressings and coats, it makes it a little bit trickier to get onto these saddles. Getting those posts on their legs is just not happening very well right now. But if you try and kind of settle them down somewhere, you'll get them comfortable enough. And there we go, we finally have a Belch and Barf with riders on necks, on saddles, ready for play. That's a first, I believe. All these years with dragons and never really being able to do this. They are certainly, for me right now, sort of on there. Spend some time, try to get those legs right, position them there, here and where, and you might actually get them seated a little bit better than I did. Because I think my Dairy Queen Blizzard seated flight test is not going to go so well. So up they go, up into the sky. This guy's really heavy. So we're flying about, aiding in the destruction of the Red Death, trying to save Burke, and oh, we nearly lost Tuffnut there, but now we need to do a barrel roll. We need to barrel roll through the canyon, and Tuffnut is down. I never got a secure fit. Ruffnut, though, I think I got her down pretty well. So you can get them. It just takes a little bit of positioning. And now it is time for great Zipplebacks throughout history. So I believe earlier in the spring I shared my original Zippleback 2010. The original animated series of dragons was very well animated, and this one was quite the true Zippleback. You could actually zip the back together with patience. It takes some time. A little easier on the double head there than on the back. Is that truly why I got the name of a Zippleback? You could zip it together. Look at that. Pretty fun. Yeah, this back tail, always a little struggle. And these wings often liked to pop off, but there is a classic, very classic Zippleback of Hideous. This one here we saw earlier in the year, in the spring too, is one of my favorite Zipplebacks from Writers of Burke, I believe, with the flapping wing button and the eating cereal necks, we like to say. Really good Zippleback, one of the best. And then, of course, one of the weirdest. I can't get it to roll. How to Train Your Dragon 2 Attack Zippleback. Rolling attack, I forgot the official name, it's reviewed somewhere. There we go. Transforming out of its wheel mode may prove difficult. Power Dragon with those translucent wings. We also have one in Flaming Red. I think seen and used during that great battle with the Bewilder Beasts. Unfortunately always really hooked into this rounded neck pull. And I believe this is a How to Train Your Dragon 3 Zippleback, or maybe a Dragon Riders. Is that the right figure team? So we do have a past Ruffnut and Tuffnut, I think, who are armored up. You can't see who they are, though. And this Belch and Barf was very, very animated, cartoony. I think as favorites go, I always go to this one. This one has top funny looks, but it's just very hard to deal with, and same with the roly-poly one. So lots of Zipplebacks throughout history. Oh, and like I almost said earlier, I've got the Ruffnut and Tuffnut, or is that Tuffnut and Ruffnut? No, wait, Ruffnut, Tuff, I don't know, they're hard to tell apart. But there they are, these were like a knockoff cake topper series or something. They actually had better likeliness than most of the toy figures released, but just horrible articulation. This arm's about to fall off, a little sticky now. But when there were so few figures released, you would take anything. So I'm glad I held on to these two over the years, just knockoffs found on Amazon. And so I finally assembled and collected and combined our core collection, the Dragon Riding Team. A little tricky to throw these guys complete together, but the best way is the Final Battle Volcano Dragon Pack, which gets you most of every dragon and figure with hard shells. But if you want that fish legs figure, you gotta get those real feel Gronko wings on the Gronko single pack with fish legs. And then search over at Walmart for the exclusive Zippleback. And finally, you've got your team together. And now that everyone's together, I can say a few words of what I thought of the movie. I will try to keep it spoiler-free, but if it's something you do not want to hear, just fast forward a little bit to the Skrill. So what did I think of the new How to Train Your Dragon movie? What did I think? I liked it! I thought it was really good and very entertaining. That's how you do a remake. You take something that is time-tested, you get the same directors, same writers, you don't tweak too much, you just add in and fill in here and there to increase the length of the movie if you needed to, from an animated to a live action. Everything was thrilling about the live action, had my hair stand up on the back of my neck several times with the great music, the look of the dragons transferred into a live action feel. I think they did an incredible job with the casting and the actors who played the parts of these classic characters. It is a hard huge task to try to match something that was already a 5 out of 5 or a 10 out of 10 movie, and I think they delivered really well. There were scenes where the actor who played Hiccup looked exactly like he did animated. It was just crazy how well they captured that. And it seemed like every character had a nice little contribution of scenes, like Snotlout had an interesting thing with his dad. Ruffnut and Tuffnut, who are usually just kind of in the background, actually got a little good screen time there too and made some great jokes. Angry Astrid was pretty entertaining as she had to deal with Hiccup as he slowly learned a little more about how to control and train a dragon. Stoic was amazing. So cool that they had the ability to take Gerard Butler, who was perfect for the part, for the voice part originally, and perfect for the acting part. So that was just an awesome bridge between the two movies. All the dragon training scenes were great. I kind of forgot how that kind of binded together, where Hiccup and Toothless would work together and then they'd go back to the training fields and he slowly knew a little more and more, and it just was really fun. It just fit together perfectly. So I could ramble on and on about this, but I would give it my squirrel thumbs up because it was just really entertaining all around. After all the remakes that have gone wrong over the past few years, finally a remake went right. And it'll be interesting to see how they move on with the series, if they follow along with the How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3, or maybe they should kind of diverge a little bit and create some own new stories. So we'll see. I'm not really sure. I haven't read into what their plans are on that. But there you go. That's my thoughts. I thought it was really fun. It's Skrill time! I think if you look closely in the background, you'll see a few Skrills here and there. And I think they even mention the Skrill in the Book of Dragons during the movie, so you get a little bit of Skrilling the thrill. In fact, keep an eye out for our upcoming video with Hexbot Bugs, Thrill of the Skrill Race. It is absolutely crazy. You're gonna see some crazy Return of Hexbug action. Who is going to win the Thrill of the Skrill? But right now we're looking at a single-carded figure of the Skrill, How to Train Your Dragon live action with moving wings, purple body, unsaddled, ready for attack. This series also has an unsaddled, untamed Toothless, a Grunkle with shell wings, and a Rumblehorn, which we will see as well. Man, back in the day, finding a Skrill was like a real thrill. It was a tricky find. Was it a Riders of Berk or was it a Power Dragons? I'm gonna have to go back to the old review on this one maybe. I noticed the battery power is a little bit not there anymore. It should light up or do something. I got a battery box there. I will have to reignite this Skrill, and I'll have to actually go through my projectile bin of dragon projectiles because they're all together and I don't know what it's shooting anymore. But this is a great figure back in the day. A little bit darker, but there's still some purple down its back. New figure, a little smaller scale size, probably because they wanted to fit it into the smaller scale size series. Let's get out a package. And our Skrill has been released. Not too bad for a Skrill figure. A little smaller than you're used to, but I like the detail, I like the purple, I like the wings, I like the color, I like the back spines. It's pretty dangerous. Honestly, in fact, I'm shocked that the Skrill got such an early release in the series here. They could have easily just missed it, so it's really nice to see some dragons that aren't just the core team. This Skrill figure has moving head on neck, yeah. Non-opening and closing jaw, though. It is always out for the scream, but no projectile in there to kind of muddy it up. Wings on shells, which can rotate and hinge upwards, and back legs, hips on rotation. It's not bad, a little dragon toy for a good price point of about approximately $10. Comparing him up with previous Skrill, this one's a little more, I think, accurate, down to the ground. I like the legs tucked in a little more. This new one is kind of popping up a little bit. These two play actually really well together though. They're different enough to look fun, but still be the same species. So keep an eye out for the Thrill of the Skrill. It's always a classic. Next up, the mighty Rumblehorn. I get a little confused back from the day. I know Stoic first had the Thunder Drum for Riders of the Berk cartoon, and then he rode in on a Rumblehorn, right, in Dragons 2. Over on the back of the box, a very minty Rumblehorn in lime greenish mint. Some horn spikes, tailed bonkers, and some purple turquoise striping on back, along with a light blue sky of scales on wings. Looks pretty good, Let's open up. And the Rumblehorn out of box, a little bit small on this one. Yeah, it's part of the smaller carded series, but it feels like a Rumblehorn should be just huge. Interesting color too with the mint. Interesting color. It's good that they added a little bit of this purple and turquoise up top. It kind of stands out. And gray horns and a good mouth work. I think they did a little bit better with this Rumblehorn's head than they did the Skrill. The eyes stand out. The teeth look very lifelike. Red there, but does not open and close. The Skrill could be even better, but yeah, they kind of, I think, gave the Rumblehorn a little better look. Just a little small. Articulated up in the head and really good smooth rotation on that neck, by the way. It is soft and smooth. Nice panel shell wings with rotation and hinging. And a tail that just fell off. The Skrill's tail just didn't want to go in, and this one's just being interesting. There we go. And a nice little whipping batter back there. Oh, did it again. And if you like your dragons with moving legs, it's got hips and front feet that move and hinge, rotate about, half 180 degrees. Here's one of my older Rumblehorns to compare with, I believe, Power Dragon from How to Train Your Dragon 2. Those were easily identifiable by their wings because they were somewhat translucent and have that feeling, and they always had some sort of power move. This one was always odd because you always had the neck always sticking out, but it does give you neck punchies if you do it correctly. And so both of these actually pretty well in scale to one another. This one in very deeper green and more of the animated style, of course, than this would be like a more movieverse style. And I can't remember if we saw this in the background. We must have. I think it was in the Book of Dragons 2. Looks pretty accurate, just is a little bit small. And then we have picked up Toothless Unsaddled. A good one to pick up. At least most of the movie is Toothless untamed and unsaddled, so it's good to just have this one out. They're over on the back of the box, and you can see the others available. I skipped the Gronkle because it's pretty much the same thing you get in the Ultimate Dragon Final Battle Pack. Let's get this Unnamed Night Fury out of pack. Always some tail installation. And out of box, an attack on Burke Toothless. I thought this one was mainly going to be an injured Toothless, but no, the wings are still intact, so it's ready to go and attack Burke right from the start of the movie. A little bit small again, this series has to be small to fit that carded back size for the $10 Dragon series, but still pretty good. Look at the cute face on Toothless. That might be my favorite expression out of the available Toothlesses so far. They're always so subtle, it's like almost the same thing, but there's always just this like little bit difference, and he's smiley and happy, ready to catch Burke off guard and grab some fluffy sheep. A smaller Toothless, but certainly larger and longer than the other two single-carded dragons. I wish the Skrill and the Rumblehorn could have reached their tails out that far. Especially the Skrill, it's always so slinky. Articulation, again, about the same with this series. Head rotation on a nice hidden neck point there behind all the little Toothless ears. Wings are on hard shells, which everybody likes. Rotation, plenty of good positioning with them, up high and down low. Lots of fun with those. Hips that rotate about, it's about a 90-degree rotation on some of these, 180 to 90 degrees, but plenty of good positioning, like how you can kind of dive bomb him. All sorts of fun with this one, actually. A little heavier in articulation there. A little dragon symbol on all of these, a little branded symbol that kind of brings them together. And a tail back here. You can kind of rotate at its placement point, and it's pretty long and rubbery. Pretty long and rubbery. It's got a really cool feel back here. And I kind of like having this Toothless without saddle. It looks really cool and stark black, really fast and sleek. So it's a really fun one for a really good low price point. So these three singles here were well worth the grouping, and again you can get that Gronkle too, but I felt like we already had something pretty close, but these three were really nice to add into the Dragons of Live Action collection. And I think we have a few more dragon items to feed on through upcoming. We still have several other Toothlesses, like the Ultimate Plasma Blast Toothless. There's always a Grand Toothless, haven't got to that one yet, which should shoot some Night Fury action. Hug and Glide Toothless, plush, but should be fun to shoot. And there should be a flyable Toothless I gotta look for. Maybe I'll cram those together somehow. A talking, roaring minis Toothless too, so we'll swing back hopefully to Toothless here in the next few weeks, but we've got a lot of stuff packed still with Jurassic World and a few other surprises. If you liked today's video, please give us a squike, squirrelive, a squammet your favorite, most interesting dragon we've seen so far from live action. Thank you so much for watching. Here's some videos YouTube recommends. That's what I have to say about that.